Hey guys, it is Friday, September 25th. And as I promised from last Friday, I'm gonna bring Gary back on here and talk about some real heavy duty stuff. So what's up, Gary?
Hey, everybody. It's awesome to be back. Thanks, Aaron. Always a pleasure.
Well, yeah, thanks, brother. I appreciate you taking the time because I know it's a little bit later in your side of the world, 7:24 a.m. where I am, and I know you're 10:24, so you're middle of the day practically. So when it's beer 30 for you, we're still talking about just past lunchtime. So before we get too far into that, let's hit on a couple things. One, let's just go straight to the market just so we can get that talked about real quick. So here we're seeing the mortgage-backed securities, and looks like we're working our way back to the top of this channel. Hopefully, going to break out of the channel for the upside. And you see when we got into this channel, we broke down into, let me see here, 104.7. Excuse me, closed at about 104.81. So we closed right at the top of the channel, hit that resistance, couldn't break through it, bottomed out actually, which was kind of an interesting thing. We bottomed out at 104.59. So that would have been about a 3/8 of a point additional cost for the same rate that week. So that's what we saw, swing to that extent of 3/8 of a point in cost. Now we're back up to that 104. I can't even see it. 104.8, I think, is where we're at right now. So yeah, 104.8. 104.81 is where we're at the moment. So hopefully, since we're above the 10-day moving average, that tended to block us a couple times today. We're right in between these two lines of resistance. Hopefully, we go back to where we were here and start working our way back up into an upper channel. We'll see if that gets us where we need to go. Also wanted to touch on the campaign we've been working on. We've been shooting out information about the campaign last little bit. So going to aaron.chapman.com, scrolling down into pretty self-explanatory what's going on with this picture, and clicking on that donate button. If we've closed any transactions for you this month or last month, actually, even, because last month we donated, I'm just asking anybody to match what we're doing, $50 per closed transaction. I would like to say if you're happy with our service, but given the situation of what it is, you don't have to be happy with the service to be able to help out some kids, and I pray that you are happy with it, to help out some people here, because when you know what happens here and where this is going, it makes all the difference in the world as to why you would donate. In fact, some have actually done the monthly situation where it's set up on a recurring. We're looking to try and hit 10,000 now. As far as the donations from those who are our clients and those who are asking to participate with us, we'll probably reach somewhere close to 5,000. We're going to bridge that 10,000 with at least 5,000 from, well, I'm anticipating 5,000 from us, because I'm anticipating to close 100 transactions this month. And it's going to be an ongoing thing. And I'm going to ask you this weekend, if you haven't yet, go to Amazon Prime and get Operation Toussaint. Look that up. Operation Toussaint. That's a movie. It tells you all the reason why this organization exists and who it is we're supporting. Then lastly, if you haven't got this, get it. Go to Amazon, get the Master Key System. It's only $3.99. So one of the most amazing books I've ever read, life-changing, in fact, and it's not a book, it's a system. You're basically reading the same thing every day for a week and doing the exercise mentally to focus yourself on where you need to go. I'm starting it over on October 1. My team is starting October 1. I'm asking if anybody wants to participate with me, jump in on this. And Gary's actually done it a few times too, right?
Yeah, I was just going to comment. It looks like you've been through that book before, Aaron. How many times have you been around that wheel?
Let me see here. I've been through this thing. Oh, I mean, you can see I marked it up like crazy.
You've been through it 3 times with me.
In fact, there's the little book you gave me right there. But yeah, I've been through this thing, I think 4 times. This will be my 5th time. In fact, let me read something to you guys real quick. And I can't see which one. This one, I believe, is part 17. It says, premature wealth or position cannot be retained because it has not been earned. We only get what we give, and those who try to get without giving always find that the law of compensation is relentlessly bringing about an exact equilibrium. Heavy, heavy stuff. So that's what I saw underlined there. Thought I'd read it to you. But how many times you've been through it, dude?
3 with you. Yep. 3 right smack in a row, 18 months, 6 months at a time, deep study, 3 times right around in the circle. It's pretty awesome.
It's amazing.
And I'm ready to go again, so I'm on board.
And a little word of wisdom, don't brush your teeth and drink
grapefruit. You get the full effect of grapefruit.
Yeah, that's Spindrift, some heavy duty stuff. I don't know if you ever had it, but I love that sparkling water, and this one's good. But yeah, that's Aquafresh and Spindrift don't work awesome. But So let's talk a little bit about why I brought Gary on here. Gary, very, very good friend, and client. I described a little bit about our relationship and how that developed as a client early on, and me working with him on the lending side, and then being able to work, explore down the path of whole life. I'd done life insurance policies in the past, and quite frankly, I felt like I got screwed. So when I heard you're doing life insurance, I'm like, dude, come on. And I was like, well, he's done for me. We'll be able to bread our table because he's buying homes. Let me find out what this is. Then he shared with me and my wife the details of that, and it was freaking awesome. And let me just tell you, we took the capital that I had set aside to buy investment real estate, and instead of buying that real estate, I parked it into a whole life policy, borrowed against that policy immediately as soon as it was available. How long usually are they available?
I did mine 3 days later. I don't recommend that. So I tell people 30 days, but it's immediate.
Well, mine was about 30 days. It was close to 30 days.
Was.
And I pulled out, I'm trying to remember, because I know I put 90,000 in there. I think I pulled out like 85 and bought multiple properties. And then the goal was, since I was putting aside a certain amount of my income anyway, to develop the capital to buy investment real estate, I maintained that trajectory. I kept putting that same amount of money in. When I borrowed against the policy, I had taken it, bought the real estate, took the cash flows from the real estate, and then took the 10% of my income or whatever dollar amount it was that I was saving, and went back in there to pay down that loan against the policy until I got a gap. So let's say I took out 85, paid down 30 of it. So pull out 30 and buy another property, got more cash flow, increased the trajectory, and continue to get things growing and growing and growing. So talk about that a little bit. Tell us about what it is that you're doing with folks. For me, it creates an engine for my growth and for my family's growth. Tell me about how it is you work with your clients on that.
Yeah. So, it's really, I talk always about it being a foundation, and it's not the sexy part of it, but, first and foremost, it's a place to store your emergency money, your reserves that you have maybe stored somewhere else. But then it becomes that opportunity fund once you've got that safety net underneath you. And that's what I love to use it for, because, one of the mentors and the guys that taught me a lot about this in this space has this phrase of, when you're in a position of cash, opportunity seeks you out. And that's the exciting and fun part about it. I probably received these calls in the past where Aaron Chapman says, hey, I got a customer or a client who's looking for some lending. It's a smoking deal. I can't personally do it. Can you pull it down? But the requirement is that you have liquidity, right? You have the ability to do it in a few days. And that's the thing that these life insurance policies bring. If you need to, we can wire the money into your checking account and you can go do it. So a lot of people use it for private lending. They do what I do. I've got 19 loans against life insurance policy, against my policies, to cover down payments on rental properties. And one time, Aaron, on the last property that I bought, I wanted to put this nice big short-term rental new one down in St. Augustine into my portfolio. I didn't have any more slots. And so I borrowed against the life insurance policy, paid off a cute little one that I got back in 2011 or 12 that had like 50,000 left on your mortgage, and swapped it out for a new one. And we put a big loan on it, to kind of recycle out. So it's just that flexibility is tremendous. And the thing is, and this is the big picture of it, hey, why wouldn't I just use cash, right? Why not just use cash? I have access to 100% of my money, Aaron, not 95%, but the thing is, it has so many additional benefits, which I really want you to talk about the legacy side. You're better than me, but think about it just on funding a down payment. When you take your cash and you put it in as a down payment, you wouldn't do that on your own, right? I have a VA loan and I can get 100% down or 0% down, and I'm going to do that. Because I want to use my money for something else more effective. When you put your own money in as a down payment, which Fannie Mae forces you to do for conventional, it's kind of locked up there, right? And it's not earning anything. Yeah, the property earns, but that money specifically doesn't earn. And if you could make it do something else instead, it's awesome. Here's a quick example. Let's say I have an investment I want to put $50,000 into. And my investment is going to be for 25 years, like a rental property, right? So $50,000, 25 years. Now I have two choices. I can put my own money in there and pass up on the interest it could have earned for me, or I could borrow somebody else's and pay them interest. And most of the time people miss the point that passing up on interest is huge. So let's say that you have an account where you can earn 6% on your money with no taxes or fees, right? And so if you take your money out of there, you're passing up on 6%. So if I instead could borrow somebody else's money at 6% and pay them back, Huge difference. Here's the example. And you can just go do it with normal little loan tools you can get on Dinkytown or something. $50,000 borrowed for 25 years and paid back on a normal loan is $47,000 in interest at 6%. Typical, right? That's what all the 15-year mortgage guys bark at you. Hey, you're going to pay as much in interest as you are in principal. They're right, but it's half the story. The other half of the story, yes, I paid $47,000 interest to borrow somebody else's money. Now go plug in your $50,000 growing at 6% with no taxes, compounding. It turns into $170,000, somewhere around there, 157, I think, right? So you made $150,000 and it cost you 49 or 47 to go do it. I'll do that all day long, plus the protection, the life insurance, and all this other stuff.
Yes, that was the thing that really got me. I'm like, wow, is that really possible? And so, that really, well, first, I can put my funds somewhere, have insurance to protect my family should something happen to me. Because man, I have knocked on death's door and ran away before he opened it more than one time in my life. And then also on top of that, be able to put that capital somewhere where it's growing and be able to borrow against that and put that to work. I couldn't find a hole in it. I was looking for where the shoe would drop. And so of course I put the capital in here, tried it out, and we've been able to continue to keep growing it and growing it and growing it with your paid up additions and all those kind of things. So ultimately there's going to be millions of dollars left when I pass, as a result of everything that we built up and what the insurance policies are, and you helping me get that going, as well as all the real estate and all the many things that I've done with my family. And I have to think, how am I going to get my kids to take this and not cash it all out and do something stupid? Now, I've tried to teach them to be fairly thoughtful with what they spend their money on anyway. But when you drop several $1 million on people, it changes things. So my thought was, I'm going to make them do what I'm doing. So when they get married, they contact Gary. Gary sets them up in a way that we can structure to where they put in a minimum of $1,000 a year, up to $5,000 a year into their policies to grow the policies between the premium and what they call paid up additions. And that way it should be at least about 10% of their income. Because both Isabel and Zach got married. Zach's working, Isabel's working. They are both have that range, 1,000 to 5,000 they can put in each of their policies. And Isabel's still working on hers. But if that's the case, they're able to set aside, say, $8,000 a year between them. That means they're making about $80,000. They're maintaining at least 10% of their income. And there's a discipline that I'm teaching them with that. So as they're putting that capital aside, and then they have to be able to borrow, the ability to borrow against it down the road 5, 6, 7 years from now, buy investment real estate, pay down the note with the money they've been saving, as well as the cash flows, and then do it again and do it again. Every time you get another property, it's more cash flow to pay down that note against the policy and then pull money back out again quickly. You're creating this engine that's going to compound. A lot of people talk about the debt snowball to pay off houses. How about the debt snowball, flip it in a different way to buy more houses, utilizing the life insurance policy? So now each one of my children, I front load each of their deals. Say, here's $1,000 each to start your policies when they get married. And we sit down on the regular. It hasn't been as regular as it should have been with this COVID stuff and whatever else, but we're sitting down on the regular to discuss it. Are you doing it? Where are you at with it? What's going on here? Derek, he just got married. He and his wife are supposed to have contacted you. They've got to get theirs going. So if they have shown the capability to at least maintain 10% of their income using this instrument and being wise with it, then I will keep them in the will where they get this windfall down the road. So it's kind of an interesting concept. Take care of yourself and get more later. And what's the worst case scenario? I blow all of it and they've taken care of themselves. Either way, they're safe. That's the goal.
Yeah, worst case scenario is they somehow got the money and didn't know what to do with it, hadn't gone through this learning process, and they blow it. And you and I, through our hard work and success, have created monsters, right? We've created loads on society that aren't going to use their talents. That's the worst case. That's what keeps every successful person awake at night. How do I use the fruits of this without destroying my children?
Well, and that's the thing. It's more destructive than it's helpful when you give it you give it into untrained hands. Right. Yeah. If you read back in history, I don't know if you're much of a religious person. I read and I'm cracking in the Bible. I've been reading all through the Old Testament all this year. And it's amazing. You look at one king's doing awesome, taking care of the people. Everybody's becoming prosperous. The next king is a dirtbag. Now they're worshiping all the different gods and all this crazy stuff. And then they all fall into ruin. They get taken over by Babylon. They go and do it again. it's crazy that, if they're neglected in their education, what they do with wealth when it hits them. And, the goal is that when I go and they take over, that they perpetuate the same thought process with their children. So I'm going to have as much influence as I can over the grandkids and pray that they have influence over their grandkids and so forth. I can't change the trajectory of our nation right now. I can't change the trajectory of where things are going, but I can change the trajectory of my family, I hope.
Yeah. And that's what's important. If all of us work on where we are right now and what we can do, it's going to make a huge difference. So that's really what inspires me to work it with the individual grassroots, right? Change.
Well, if we're doing this right, we're going to outpace inflation. One, we've already proven it in talking about buying investment real estate. When you're buying turnkey, even just turnkey properties, anything that you have that's keeping a tenant in there, you're just them paying it down on a 20% down deal, you're getting a 13.33% gain on your 20% down when they're paying off the $80,000 loan over that 30 years when you average it out. Then on top of that, you get the tax deductions. Then you get the cash flow. Then you get to raise rents and get the compound increase in your cash flow. Then you get the declining dollar that you're paying it back with. You're paying really back less than what you borrowed with. As your policy's growing, as your cash flow is growing, as your balance is getting paid down, all these things, it's hundreds of percent return on your initial investment. You're way outpacing inflation. The rest of the world, unfortunately, is living hand to mouth, is being completely beat to death by inflation. The real estate investor that embraces real estate, for one, and then realizes the absolute beauty of this particular instrument, the way that we have started to put it together and create this engine. When you optimize it, I can just see the compound effect of that. There's some hope. There's actual hope for something here in a world where we're getting completely beat to death by taxes and tariffs and all kinds of stuff.
Yeah. I've been accused, rightfully so, of being an extremely optimistic person. I kind of try to think of myself as an opportunist, but I am very optimistic, and I don't apologize for that. I see greatness in people out there, especially in those people who are willing to go through the work that we're doing here, right? The tenants and toilets, and looking at legacy, multi-generational, what's really important, what I really want to pass forward to the future generations. I want to be around those people all day long. So I'm always super grateful, Aaron, when you expose me to those kind of people.
Well, I'm grateful that you took the steps to go down this path, because you had a career path you could have continued to maintain. And first, I thought you were an idiot for changing that.
Would have had more glitter in it, I'm sure.
Exactly. It had a lot shinier, shinier suit and a lot more glistening stuff on it. But ultimately, what you did has changed a lot of lives. Mine, for one, I can just say the life of myself and my family is forever changed. The direction that we're heading is forever changed. I'm not hoping for the future. I have a plan. I literally have a step-by-step path to get there. I don't know the exact speed that I'm going to get there, but I'm at least walking the damn thing, right? And I'm not worried about what it's going to do, and I think that's where at least the confidence that comes in just marching forward. And that's the confidence I want to give my clients. That's the confidence I want to give the people who refer me business. The folks out there that have clients come to them that want to buy investment real estate. I know the big worry is if you hand them off to Gary, it's going to take another month before they can close. Who cares? This is one of the greatest things that could have happened to that person, is you help them create a path and an engine to continue to expand their holdings and grow their real estate investment business. This is one of the best things I've ever found, to give somebody a pattern to follow. When you follow a pattern, you can get there. That's how you get a successful puzzle, right? If there was no picture on the puzzle whatsoever, how well are you going to put together that whole thing if it's just one big whiteboard?
Yeah, no vision at all.
This is the picture.
Yeah, it's really helpful. It truly is.
Well, one, how do they get in contact with you? What is there the website they got to go to?
Yeah, I tried to make it as simple as possible. So it's my name, Gary Pinkerton. So the website is garypinkerton.com, and the email is just gary@garypinkerton.com. That's the easiest way.
Very cool. And then you got Alliance
Strategic Wealth. Yeah, that one's actually not marketed too well yet, so I just stick with my name right now. But definitely looking forward to bringing in, what I want people, the reason these submarines are all around here, you know, I'm a little bit outspoken against some of the stuff that we're doing today. And I don't want people to misunderstand that I'm not patriotic, because I absolutely am. I just think we can do better. And I'm not ready to rest on what we're doing right now. But also, you know, the submarine, the Naval Academy background, like you're talking to somebody who's asking to look into your finances. And so I just want people to know, you know, where I come from, right? Like a program that's had 60 years of ethical foundation in the submarine force. And, you know, you can trust what people in this industry tell you. And so I just, you know, instead of mouthfully telling people that all the time, that's really the reason that I kind of show all that stuff.
Well, I appreciate one, what you did to serve the country, and then two, the time you put in there, and then what you're doing here, because this is changing. It's changed my life, and I'm hoping it changes other people. The best I can do is just say, hey guys, reach out to them, connect with them, see if it fits you. This is not a command. I'm saying you go get this done. I'm saying this could be what
just
you're
give it a look.
Yeah, give it a look. And I'll just say, and I say it all the time, shittiest salesman in the world, but he is one of the best educators I've ever seen on this. So don't feel like when you get him on the phone, he's going to be pounding a sales pitch into you. He doesn't have that. He doesn't have a sales bone in his body. He sucks at it, but he can educate you better than anybody I've ever seen on this specific thing. Because there's a lot of people out there selling it, but that's what they're doing. They're selling it.
Yeah.
Educating anybody I just haven't seen anybody educate the way that you have. So I appreciate that, man.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I appreciate being on, and anybody that I can help and get on this path is real important to me.
Very good. All right, guys, I'm going to be gone next week. I may not be recording. I may not be sending anything out because I'm going to be hunting. And if I have crappy signal out there in the middle of, it's in northern Missouri somewhere, then I may not be recording. But if I can, I'll get something out. Gary, thank you, brother. Appreciate
Otherwise, we made this one twice as long, so they're good.
There you go. Play it again.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, guys.